comedy, mushroom, cult, podcast. Oh man, it looks gorgeous. Everything looks good. Everything looks golden. We are popping here. Alrighty, let's go. Big political news this week. It's been a big week since the last time we recorded. It was one of those, I had to wait until the house was empty, but it never is empty. That's what happens in life, to record. I just can't do it with people listening. But it's fine. But it's one of those weeks where just so much shit happened where you're like, wow, we kind of have to, I want to wait until things kind of simmer down a little bit to do an episode to try to recap everything that's happened in the week and to try to put something together that kind of encapsulates the week / 10-ish days since the last time I did one of these. And I mean, we're going into the weekend with just absolute, who knows what's going to happen this weekend. If we can recap the last 2 weekends before this one, 2 Saturdays ago, somebody shot off the corner of Trump's ear, which is apparently perfectly fine now, which is great. I mean, we want to make sure, that our past presidential candidates are okay, because political violence is not okay in this country, which is a very Benjamin Netanyahu was on Capitol Hill yesterday, 2 days ago, both, and fucking but we don't want political violence. That's fine. Just doing a whole speech, riling up everybody, to try to be like, hey, we need you to keep funding this genocide, which obviously don't go into Jerusalem and kill a bunch of Jews. That's a good way to kick up the hornet's nest, but also that's not any real reason to start a genocide and completely annex an entire. I mean, there's a lot of history that goes into there, so it's not just this one isolated incident, but hey, don't come over. We already. How Google will go in and buy a startup. Facebook will go in and buy Instagram. People will already, Instagram was already a thing, but once Facebook bought it, that's kind of when it was going on. That's kind of us and Israel, all right? It was kind of a thing. They deserve to be a country as well. Do we need to fund the entire... does 90% of their money need to come from us? Probably not. Is it important for... Whatever. We just don't need to be giving them weapons and funding the killing of more brown people. I don't think that's a wild stance. I mean, we love the Jews on this. They're the chosen people. That's great. I just don't think because you pray to a god from 2,000 years before the other person's god, and you want good real estate, that you should be able to exterminate a whole bunch of people off the planet of the earth. So I think that's fair. But again, don't kill anybody. We can say that. Maybe we don't just go in and kill people. Period. All right? But also, don't do it in an organized way where you're, already trying to sell the land that you have taken away from it. Whatever. That's not the important thing. The important thing is we don't want political violence. So Trump got his ear shot. Which again, it's perfectly fine, great. He was good enough to go golfing with Bryson DeChambeau. Looked like he knew what he was doing. It's crazy what happens when old rich white dudes just golf all the goddamn time, and then people are like, "Oh, he's good at golfing." Yeah, no shit. What are we doing? So that happened. Then. Then the RNC happened. That would JD Vance is now a vice presidential campaign candidate. So shout out Ohio. I know JD Vance maybe isn't, and he's not really from Ohio. He was born there, but we know the backstory. But it's kind of cool that potentially Ohio was one heartbeat away from the presidency. I mean, we got to root for that. Maybe not the right guy. Not the guy that we want, but it's cool. Like, shout out Ohio. I mean, Ohio's up to some bullshit, and we'll get to it. That's the most important political news. But we have to wrap up the rest of this here. Then last weekend, our boy, even though he was like completely fine the entire time, he had the mental faculties to be like, he's doing the job now. How couldn't he do the job in the future? Like, every single person I enjoy them as people, but online they like have a brand of like, we're gonna support Joe Biden no matter what, because I still think that they think Joe Biden is like Joe Biden, Vice President Joe Biden. Like, that's what they have stuck in their mind, is like, they still think that they are young and hot and Obama's president still, kind of, right? Like, people think like in their glory days that like that's what's going on. So like, they still think of young Joe Biden being on Parks and Rec, like witty, quick, saying the wrong thing at the right time, basically making Obama let the gays get married and stuff like that. Like, I think that's what they think of Joe Biden, not the halfway in the grave. His brain, like RFK Jr.'s brain works better, and he had a fucking worm eating parts of it out, right? Like, they don't think of that Joe Biden. But then all of a sudden, he drops out. Big shocker, you know? Like, nobody could have seen it coming. Can you believe it? Like, that guy, he was on top of his game. I mean, yeah, it was one bad debate, and he was only on television like twice in the last 2 years. I mean, but still, you know, like, that guy, he's still got his mental faculties, but he dropped out, surprisingly, just in a big shock to everybody. And now our presidential candidate is Kamala Harris. So it's fun. I mean, I am going to be more okay sucking up my vote for her, that the Democratic Party has chosen for me to do. The last three candidates for president have basically been chosen by the DNC, which that's a problem. And I know that it's probably like sexist or whatever to point out that we didn't pick this candidate. It was like chosen for us. But I mean, at this point, we're used to it if you vote Democratic. They made Hillary Clinton run for president and she got fucking beat. Not the popular vote, that's fine, but like in the way that this country does elections and has always done elections, like, it's very fun to be in the party of people who are like, we need to run fair elections and we need to like free and open elections, and then being like, everybody needs to be able to vote. And like, yes, like, that's great, that the popular vote would be great, but like, we've done presidential elections pretty much the same for a long time, and that means that we know that the popular vote doesn't mean shit, and you have to like have a strategy and win, you know, like a political party's supposed to do. But like, since the Democratic Party can't run campaigns or legislate, run a government, do anything but write snarky emails asking for money. Like, that's what they're kind of good at, is like getting famous people to ask you for money. Like, they crush that. What they're not great at is like the rest of it, really. But no, like, they lost that one, and then they're like, well, we can't have a presidential candidate like Bernie Sanders in 2020, like somebody that like everybody kind of likes. We can't do that. We need to dig up Joe Biden's body and then make him run for president. And then now they're like, hey, Joe Biden's not going to, like, he wasn't going to win. Welcome to the Ray's Right About Everything podcast. And now Kamala's like tied with Trump, which is wild. She was an attorney or a prosecutor, like a state prosecutor, or even just like a city prosecutor, which fine. Like, I'm sure that's very impressive, and like, you need to know the law and all that stuff. Like, and she seems to have done a fine job as vice president of whatever she's been doing. Like, if she's really running the presidency, I think Jill Biden probably was. But like, if she was running the presidency for real, like, she didn't do the best job, but like, things aren't the worst. Like, I have no problem voting for her. But I mean, it would have been better if like they would have been like, hey, who do you guys think should be president, instead of like looking at polling numbers just to win and then like keep the fucking status quo going. But no. So she's running for president now. We don't know who her VP is yet. Hopefully they come out with that. Oh, the DNC's coming up. They'll probably bring that out at that time. I'm pushing for Sherrod Brown. I know he's a little bit older. But I mean, the Teamsters went to the RNC and were like, we might vote for Trump. And what's a better way to get the Teamsters back on board than like a pro-union guy like Sherrod Brown, who's been around forever? Another Ohio guy. We got to keep Ohio one heartbeat away from the presidency. That would be my campaign slogan. Ohio, the one heartbeat away from the presidency of it all. Stupid. Ohio, the heart of it all. Yeah, like it kind of looks like a heart and it's kind of in the same spot, but like not really. You know, like I guess it's close enough, but like it doesn't need to be snappy. Like I don't know. Virginia's for lovers is like they've already got that, and then we're just like, well, we're the heart of it all. Like we had birthplace of aviation. We could have kept that, but like Kitty Hawk, South Carolina wanted that. I know way too much about the Wright brothers, just because we were born in Ohio, and they're like they created airplanes. And I did see something online that was like, imagine being one of their one of their customers at the bike shop, wondering why it's taking so goddamn long for your bike to get fixed, and then you see them on the news with an airplane. Like, hey, I would really like my bike, please. So yeah, like that's very fun. But no, this is the biggest Ohio news, the biggest news of the world that just came out today, is the Ohio State Supreme Court ruled 4-3 in a split decisions. They went to the judges on this one. Nobody could get the knockout, TKO or regular KO. But this is really Ohio's shame. I'm sure that we've done some other crazy shit. Like, there were Native Americans living in Ohio before we were there, so, like, they kicked them out, right? Like, that's bad. But, I mean, some might argue, like, I don't think we should argue that this is worse, but, like, this is more relevant. And, like, some guy almost died eating at a wing restaurant because he ordered boneless wings. And he ate said boneless wings, and then like a day later or a few days later, he was in the hospital because they found a bone in his stomach that had scratched his esophagus, and it got infected. So he sued the restaurant, and then he also sued the company that made the wings, which seems fair to me. Like, I mean, you order boneless wings, and there's a bone in them. It's in the name. Like, there was just a fucking a big lawsuit of, God, what was it? It was like, you should, like, it was one of those, like, anybody who saw this product, like, would rationally think, oh, it's the Kerrygold pure Irish butter in the UK, or I think it was Europe, or it might have been just, like, nationally. There's, like, a class action lawsuit going, saying that the pure Irish butter, it needs to pay people money because it's not pure. And like they're saying that like they meant like pure Irish butter, like it's Irish, and like customers should know what that is. And then the feds were like, no, it says pure Irish butter, but like there's impurities in like the wrapping that got into the butter, right? So if that is like against the law, saying something is boneless and then it has bones in it, that's a problem. But not according to the Ohio State Supreme Court, where like their rationale, again, 4-3, said that bones can be in boneless wings, which is asinine, right? Like that's not boneless, right? And the ruling, it was basically like, people know that chickens have bones, and they know that chickens don't have fingers, and they eat chicken fingers. So like, why would boneless wings be any different than chicken fingers? Which is just like, every stupid guy, like, oh, you're going to order boneless chicken wings, just call them chicken nuggets. Like, go fuck yourself. Boneless wings are different than chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets are, like, compressed meat together. Boneless wings at least seem like they're, like, cuts that are kind of that way, and then breaded and fried, right? They're a completely different thing. And that's what we cannot have, especially coming out of Ohio. Like, we already have J.D. Vance getting grilled on the public stage. All right, that's not a good look for Ohio. We've got, like, we're the birthplace of aviation. We can't be the birthplace of bone-in, boneless wings. That's crazy. What kind of world are we living in where we're okay with that being like, maybe we don't January 6th, Columbus, but like maybe we do over this, like going to the state Supreme Court and like telling them not to do this. Like, what are we doing? Like, we need to rise. If there's like, you have to stand for something or you fall for anything. Like you're paying more for boneless wings these days than you are bone-in. Like, it used to be the opposite, and now you're paying more for them, and it might still have a bone in it? Like, come on now. It's not fish, where, like, you order it, and they're like, hey, be careful of bones. It's impossible to get fish bones out of here. It's chicken bones, which are, like, internationally known for something that you could choke on, and so when you order boneless, you fucking expect there to be no bones. We can't have it. This used to be a country. We used to be a country, and especially in Ohio, we can't stand for that. We could not have that coming through and doing anything like that. And speaking of restaurants falling through, apparently the Wahlburgers in Wisconsin news, the Wahlburgers in Brookfield, Wisconsin, we can't have it, dude. They're closing down because people don't want to go to Wahlburgers. They don't, like, it's a reasonably healthy enough establishment. Like, they put all the calories on there. They give you, like, the nutrition facts right on the order because Mark Wahlberg, on top of beating Asian people to almost death in the 80s, 90s, whenever he did that, he's super into fitness and God. So, like, you can't be into fitness and God without having the fucking nutrition facts on things. And apparently people just don't like that transparency in Brookfield, Wisconsin. There's a new, what was that spot? A Shake Shack across the street that I'm sure is very busy. They probably put the calories on there because they have to. But like the people of Brookfield, Wisconsin were like, well, that burger's got 1,000 calories. This one's only got 750. Why would I not go get the 1,000-calorie one? Because like that's not, you don't buy things based off of their calories. Brookfield, Wisconsin, but like that's 100% an argument that Brookfield would have. So like shout out Wahlburgers. It was good. The fries are okay. Pickle chips were great. It was a nice ambiance. People were like, it's one of those, Ashley looked it up because she was like, yeah, apparently they were saying like the service wasn't great lately. And it's like, when is the service good for anybody in suburban Wisconsin? You know, like you could bend over, like you could do a backflip, but you could be Spider-Man in the cafeteria, catching everything on the tray and then handing it to them, and they'd be like, that took too long. Like, oh, you didn't just see me do some impossible shit around here. Like, I had to tell one woman before, like, we were making, it's a coffee shop, when I worked at the coffee shop, and she wanted a bagel from the kitchen, a pretty busy kitchen, and from the time that she ordered to the time that she got her bagel and drink, it was 6.5 minutes. Not that long. Like, if I told you had to wait 6 minutes for a bagel, you'd be like, okay, sick, no problem. But, like, she got her got her drink and was standing there, and, like, I could hear it being almost done in the kitchen, and she's like, excuse me, I'm running late for work. Can I, like, when will my bagel be done? I'm like, oh, well, it sounds like it's coming out right now. But next time, if you're running late for work and you can't take 5 minutes, go to McDonald's. Like, this isn't McDonald's. I feel like if you, like, McDonald's might have been slower than this. Like, so I had to tell her, like, cool, like, you got a coffee, like, you got into a store and you got your drink and food in under 10 minutes. Like, if you order to-go stuff, they tell you to take 15 minutes. So if you're there, it takes less than that. But no, she wasn't happy with it. Like, if you want things instantly, fucking go into the future, all right? And get, like, order your stuff in pill form where you just hydrate it. Like you're in the fucking, like you're in Back to the Future where you put, like, the pill in, like, the fake oven and then you come back and it's, like, a whole-ass meal. And you're like, oh, I've been cooking this all day. Like, that's what she wants. Like, oh, you think we just have your order sitting here waiting for you? No, you fucking wanted something special. But whatever. There's PD playing with his spring. But what else is going on? What else? R.I.P. Wahlburgers, you know? I mean, obviously don't don't beat up I think he was Vietnamese. Like if you're Mark Wahlberg and you're trying to get like nobody cares that Mark Wahlberg almost beat a Vietnamese guy to death. Like they're okay with him because he's Mark Wahlberg and now he like prays and he's in like I do like that one steroid movie that he was in. That was really good. The Other Guys is a great. I don't dislike Mark Wahlberg, but somehow he got to slide through everything. Like even in like 2020 or like the Me Too, like all of that good stuff that happened. Where we're digging up people's pasts from like 30 years ago, and like their feelings towards racism and like I just saw I went through my memories on Facebook today, and 8 years ago, it was like the Bernie versus Hillary time at this point in the year, and just everybody was being like, you don't want Hillary to be president because you're sexist. It's like, no, because she's going to lose the election, and she's not a good candidate, and she's very uppity and thinks that she deserves it, instead of letting the people choose who's going to do it. But whatever, we're not back on the DNC. But like, it's that. Like, we had that going on in 2016, where we had to like come to a reckoning about racism and sexism, and we just let Mark Wahlberg slide. Like, hey, I understand like people pay their debts to society and like do stupid things when they're young, but like beating a Vietnamese business owner almost to death just because you're Mark Wahlberg and you look good in some fucking Calvin Kleins or whatever, like you got out of it because you rapped that one song that's kind of a banger. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. What was that? Good Vibrations? Is that the song where he samples that song? It's a good song. I mean, it's fun. Come on. Like, it's not something that I will listen to regularly. I'd rather listen to the Good Vibrations, I guess. But the Marky Mark song's fun. Because Entourage is written based on your life. Like, we're just gonna let that slide. The Entourage, which is a very problematic show, if you go back and look at it, like, just the whole thing. And then now he's just gonna be like, no. I wake up at fucking 4 a.m, do sit-ups all morning, and pray to Catholic Jesus. We're fine with it. Which, I mean, it makes sense. But I mean, let's have like a Mark Wahlberg reckoning. I want him to, instead of going on TV with his fucking ashes on his stupid face on Ash Wednesday next year, that's what we need to do on Ash Wednesday, when they just like cart Mark Wahlberg out every year on Ash Wednesday for him to be like, yo, I'm not like telling people what to do, but like I shouldn't have to hide that what I do. And it's like, no, you don't, Mark Wahlberg. You're too busy hiding that you beat a Vietnamese man almost to death. That's what we need to do on next Ash Wednesday. Be like, hey, speaking of hiding things, like, yeah, you put ashes on your face, which is like, that's annoying. I know it's not Ash Wednesday, so like it doesn't matter, but like I'm just kind of in a bitchy mood today, apparently. But Ash Wednesday is kind of like the fucking, like, especially like the right-wing news people, any of the people who are on TV, like local news people who are like, hey, I'm Catholic, and like they wear the ashes on TV on that Wednesday. Like, one, I don't know if they even went to do that, because here's the thing. Here, like, we should know this. If you don't know this, like, you have to wear makeup on television all the time because like the lights wash you out, and like you can see like you need to do it so you have like skin color. So like the fact that they can have perfect TV makeup and have the ashes on their forehead, either one, those are fake ashes that they just like added for you, because like you knew you had to go on TV and you're like, well, it's Ash Wednesday, I need to get the ashes. So you didn't go to, like, you somehow bent over backwards to be like, I can't go to church to put the ashes on my head because I have to be on TV and it's going to mess up the makeup. So you had to have your makeup person do it. So like then they're fake ashes, which is like kind of the whole point, is to be real ashes on that day. Or you just like did it and then they like did makeup over it. So like they had to complete, because of your stupid ashes on your forehead, like wear a pin, or like, hey, it's Ash Wednesday, I would usually get it done after you're on TV. You're making a point, like you're trying to do, like you're doing that, like, I don't want to call it a dog whistle, but like some sort of like weird Catholic, like, I believe in Jesus. I'm like, at some point, I'm like going to make a point, like I'm gonna run for like city council, and I need to have it on film that I was down with Ash Wednesday and I'm religious on television. So like, it's a fucking sham. Like either it's fake ashes, or like they just like, because you didn't go to church at 3 in the, you're on TV at 7. You didn't go to church at 3 in the morning on Ash Wednesday. I know you didn't. There's no way you did. So what are we doing? Why are we pretending? All right? Do the fucking news, then go to church, get your ashes, take your selfie, and put it up there. You can be a fucking Catholic on your own time, all right? I don't need it. Like, separation of church and state and fucking, like, why do we gotta let it be part of everything? Like, cool. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, we're just like a weird Christian nation now. Like, no matter, like, you know how like the Republicans are always like, it's a Christian nation, and then the Democrats are like, well, it shouldn't be, like, separation of church. Like, we're in a weird theocracy where like you have to, and it's a very fun, like, everybody's supposed to be equal, but like we still need to identify as like whatever, and it's both sides. It's everybody. That's really the problem. Like, we can't even be like, hey, we're just like a country that loves everything, because then we can't even love our country because all the shitty things they've done. We have to like identify with like our fucking, hey, like, and this is good, like, obviously we need to give people representation and everything, but we have to like make sure that like everybody knows that like we know that like we're not shit, and that like every other racial group is great, and every other country is great too, but like we're just a fine place. Like, we can't just like be cool. Like, we're a weird theocracy where like if you're not Christian, you're other, but also like we hold like other religions at a higher thing if you're outside of it, and like it's a very stupid way to run a society. Just like do whatever you want on your own goddamn time. Like, isn't that the whole point of like, do whatever you want in the comfort of your own home? Not even the comfort of your own home. Do it in the middle of the fucking street. I don't care if you pray to Mecca 5 times a day in the middle of fucking Wilson Street out here. I don't care. Do that. But like, don't do it where like you're on TV. Like, I'm watching TV to fucking waste time, or like learn who the next person I'm supposed to vote for fucking supreme commander of the world is. Like, that's what that's what I want on my TV. I don't need your fucking ashes on your goddamn forehead. I don't need you fucking even in a yarmulke on fucking TV, unless you're a rabbi. Like, if you're doing some sort of thing, like if that's your job, yes, cool. I don't need to know. Like, I don't need to know anybody's fucking religion. Like, I can respect it. Like, oh, hey, cool, you're Jewish, great, fine. Like, great, let's move on. Like, I mean, I understand that you've been fucking persecuted your entire life because of it, but like, if we just went like, great, whatever, what do you, like, what's your favorite baseball team? You know, like, let's get a personality other than our religion. Not just the Christians, mostly the Christians. Like, oh, you're Christian, great. Have a personality. Oh, you love Jesus. That's what you got to put in your fucking Instagram profile, is lover of Jesus, mom. Like, get a personality. Like, what do you like? Like, oh, you just sit around thinking of Jesus all day and your children. Like, what a boring life. You don't like read books. Like, do you like space? Like, what is, like, do you even think about how time is just a social construct? Like, yeah, gender is a social construct, but like, do you even think about time, lady? Like, I don't care that you're a mother of 4. That's not a personality trait. You just got knocked up 4 times. Congratulations. All right? Like, cool. Being a mom's hard, I'm sure, but like, that's not your entire life. And if it is your entire life, then like the fucking, even the pyramid scheme girls that like everybody from my hometown seems to have fallen for the same one. Even they're like, I need to make time for myself, not just be a mom all the time. But then they're just like, my biggest job. Like, no, you're a person. You just have kids, okay? Like, that doesn't make you special. Like, yeah, you want to be cool and be like a good parent and like be attentive. We all grew up with like parents that are Gen X or like late boomers who don't give a fuck about their children and only cared about themselves. And like I only care about myself, but I don't have children to put that on. Like I like my cats, I like the girlfriend, like I like people. There are things that I like, but I'm not gonna like bring a child into my selfish world. I understand that I'm too selfish for that. Maybe at some point, like I won't be, but like I understand that you want to like break generational trauma and like be there for their kids and be, but like have a life. Like yeah, our parents had too much of a life and not enough of being a parent, right? But there's a balance. Like we can learn from them. Like they didn't even give a fuck that we like existed, right? Like there's a middle ground. They don't have to be your entire personality. Like join a book club. Fucking go see a movie. Go dancing. Do you like music? Like leave your fucking I went and saw Twisters last week. I can't believe it took me this long to get up to this. I had a weekend in Appleton. It was a good time. Got into like a little I'm not gonna say too much. He's not gonna listen to it, but like fuck that guy. All right, if you know, you know. If you don't, then at some point ask me in person. But like went and saw Twisters on Saturday, last Saturday, the 1 week anniversary of Trump's ear being shot off. I had to celebrate it. So I went and saw Twisters at like 12:15 showing, and like a whole family came in with like children and shit. What the fuck are we doing? Oh, you can't find a babysitter at noon on a don't go to the noon movie. Leave your kids at home. There was a lady with a fucking baby at Twisters. And it was like before the movie even started, it was crying because it was too loud in there. And it's fucking Twisters, guys. The whole thing is carnage. It's tearing apart small bullshit towns in Oklahoma. That's what the whole thing is. It's sucking people into a tornado. In the first 5 minutes, 3 people get sucked into a tornado. And it's kind of spoilers, but it's not. Like, it's important. I do a whole movie review. I'm starting to do those on my Instagram and TikTok. People didn't like it because it had an accent, but like the point was Glenn Powell had an accent, and I wanted an accent too. My accent was just as good as him. The lady, Daisy Edgar Jones, that was in the movie, she's British, and she had a decent Oklahoma accent. But like the whole, like the guy had to like tell his family, like the kids were upset that people got sucked into the tornado, and that's scary. And he's like, hey, 20 years ago, it wasn't this scary. And it's like, it kind of was. Like there were cows being flown in the air. Like trucks blowing up with like fire and shit. Like, yeah, people weren't getting sucked into tornadoes, but like it was there. And like, don't bring your kids to fucking Twisters. It's PG-13. They're 7. Like, okay, show them a PG-13. That's fine. Like, I saw Signs when I was too young. I saw the signs and it opened up my eyes. You just got to use water. If anybody could just tell Ace of Base that using water fixes all the signs, that doesn't even make sense. Sorry. That's just how sometimes your mind connects things and you're just like, oh, this might be funny. And then you say it out loud and you're like, there's no way that would have been funny in any world. But we'll work on it. But no, like he's just, like, what are we doing? Now you have to explain to your children that it's not real during the movie. And it's like, no, I paid money to be in a cold, dark room watching tornadoes fuck shit up while Glenn Powell and this lady fall in love, okay? That's what I wanted. That's what I got. I don't want children there. Like, leave them at home. Have a life outside of your children, okay? It can't be that hard. Like, oh, it's expensive to get a babysitter. Like, cool, everything's expensive now. Do you know how expensive it is to fucking have a life? Like, electric bills are expensive, right? Nobody made you have that child. You did it because you thought that you had to, or that your family told you did, or like that was your entire, because you don't have any real life goals. So you're like, I just want to be a mom. That's my main goal in life. Like, anytime a dude is just like, I just want to be a dad, no, you don't. You just want to, like, no. You have, like, a second family, right? Like, moms are, like, I would believe a woman who wants to be just a mom or whatever, because that's, like, baked into our society, whether that's because of evolution, making women more attached to their children, believe in science, if we believe in science, or if it's society forcing you to do that and not live your own life and all of that. And like, you can't want to be anything other than a mom. Even though for like the past, I don't know, everybody's life who's like, hey, society is making it so women can't do anything. Like, your entire life, you've been able, like, all the things that you're bitching about, you've been able to do your entire life. Like, your parents haven't. Like, they've got a gripe. Even some Gen X women have a pretty solid gripe. Yes, like, hiring wasn't up, and like, women make less money. We're all on the same page, right? We can have some nuance in this conversation, but like, even the argument, like, you guys got credit cards in the 80s, so like, most people my age are like, don't have to worry about that. Like, you've basically been like, hey, congratulations, you got exactly what you wanted. You're part of the system and you can't get out. Like, you have to work or your family falls apart. And like, it's so, because it's like, you can't work and have like a family at the same, like, people in the, like, okay, cool, this is what you wanted. Like, you wanted to be more than just a mom. But like, now you just want to be a mom. Like, what are we doing? You can't like, you can't just be like, the grass is greener every single time. Like, we have to be like, okay, this is what we wanted, we have to fuck it. Okay, cool, we don't want it anymore. Just say you don't want it anymore, and then you don't have to do it, okay? But like, have the option for other people to do it. You can just be a mom. You can be a mom with the fucking Fortune 500 CEO job. You can be a mom and be an astronaut. You can do all these things now. You could be fucking president, hopefully in the next 6 months. Like, what are we doing? Like, Kamala, I don't know if Kamala has children. I'm assuming she does. Like, you can't be a woman running for president and not have children, right? Because then they'll be like, she doesn't even have children. Let's see how many children she has. I've Googled Kamala Harris too much the last couple of days. Wikipedia. Kamala Harris. She takes a good picture. Education, parents, spouse, relatives. Oh, maybe she doesn't have children. All right, good for her, actually. I like how they have relatives. The family of Kamala Harris is like the name. Interesting. Kamala Harris. Let's see. Children. Oh, okay. Kamala Harris has no kids. Cool. So good for Kamala Harris, actually. Like, what a stance. She decided she wanted to be president, so she doesn't want to have kids. That's perfect. See, you know what? That's what we need to vote for. Woman or childless president woman. That's what we need. That's what we need. That's the representation I want as a childless politician. Fuck yeah. All right. I don't know. But, like, see, you could be president, and you... See, I think that's a bigger thing than just you. I don't know why moms caught the short end of the stick on this one. Maybe it's just because they're a very, like, have your cake and eat it too group of, like, it's the hardest job in the world, but, like, we also want, like, whatever. You want everything, but want nothing at the same time. I think it's the same thing of, like, you want to, like, so many people want to do something great, but they refuse to make sacrifices. It's the same thing societally. We want all of this change. We want everything to, but, like, we don't want anybody to lose anything. Like, except for, like, I mean, billionaires need to lose things, but, like, oh, we want social change, but, like, I don't want my life to change at all. We want financial change, but I don't want my finances to change at all. Like, nobody wants their thing to change. They just want it to get better. Like, they want no sacrifice towards it. Like, my stupid shit. I have to do my dumb shit words. And to do that, I have to work shitty jobs to keep the bills paid so I can go say words at night. Like, I want to do something that most people can't do. So I have to do things that most people won't do to make that happen. Does that make sense? Like, you want your white picket fence. You want your kids, you want your stability, so you go get a nice corporate job or work for your small family business, and then you have your nice house, and you're just worried about, like, the price of milk and eggs. That's fine. That's great. You sacrificed greatness to live a life of security, and there's nothing wrong with that. I want something great, so I am sacrificing a life of security and, like, stability. That's the word we're looking for. Same thing. Freedom isn't free. Freedom is free. Do you know what's not free? protection, security, safety. Those things aren't free. That's what you have to give up for. Do you want true freedom? Then you're going to be a little less safe, right? If you want safety, you're going to be a little less free. It's a give and take. You can't be like, hey, we want everybody to be equal, but nobody gives up anything. And it's like, well, you kind of have to. If everybody's equal, you have to give up some sort of. We went to Door County, Wisconsin. Now, was the guy being an asshole about it? Was he being very Wisconsin and like white guy about it? Sure. But Ashley was wearing like an equality hurts nobody shirt, which true. Right? But he goes, well, wouldn't equality mean it hurts everybody too? Because it's equal. And it's like, well, yeah, that's kind of what equality means. And you make a solid point, but you're being a cunt about it. Like, you're being, like, you didn't really think of the other side of that. You're just, like, saying it because you saw some other Republican dude say that and think that they, like, owned the white woman wearing that shirt. Which, like, in the moment, she didn't really have, like, a thing to come back to it. But, like, he made a decent point, but I don't think he knew that he made a decent point. He was just being a cunt. But, like, it's that same thing. Like, oh, you want to be equal? Okay, then you have to give up something. Like, I'm not saying that, like, they should, but that's just what equal is. I'm supposed to look at fine. Like, at the sake of sounding terrible, I'll do this thought experiment, okay? I don't care. Everybody's a majestic flower. Be who you want to be. That's great. I don't give a fuck what you want to do. Just be nice and leave the world better than you left it. Cool. But, like, if you want to be equal, then, like, you have to leave, like, okay, I'm not supposed to look at you as a different race, religion, sex, like, I'm not supposed to use that. Like, I'm supposed to treat you as an equal. Like, okay, I'm gonna treat you like an equal. Like, I'm not gonna be like, hey, great, you get fucking, okay, you're an equal, I'm not allowed to go fucking, it's smokers, right? Like, smokers can't leave work 20 times a day. They do. Like, we shouldn't let them. But, like, you're not allowed to leave. Perfect example. You're not allowed to leave work 5 times a day to go smoke cigarettes. You shouldn't be. Same reason you shouldn't be able to take a prayer break. Like, if you're in public doing shit, don't take a prayer break. Don't take a smoke break. Equality. That's equal. You want to pray 1,000 times at home? Go for it. You want to smoke 1,000 cigarettes outside of work? Go for it. I don't give a fuck. But if you want to be equal, you have to give something up, right? Like, in society, if you're acting in society, when you go to a movie, you want to watch a movie around other people, you shut the fuck up, right? You're giving up the right to talk because you're in public watching other movies. You want to ride the fucking train, get headphones. I don't want to listen to your fucking movie. Text somebody. Get headphones and talk on the phone. Don't be on speakerphone, right? Like, those are the sacrifices you have to make. You want to use something that's good for, like, us, then stop being you, right? You want to be part of the team. You have to be a team player. You have to give up your own individuality a little bit to do that. I don't think that's weird. You can't just, like, ask for equality and then still want to be an individual and be 100%, right? Like, and that's fine. And unless we want it to stay, like, cool, let it be a murky mess, but, like, it's gonna be that forever. If everybody wants to be special and individual and have their own thing that, like, they attach to, then you're never gonna be, like, a team, and you're never gonna be equal. And who wants to be equal? We want equal opportunity. That's what we want, you know? And that's fine. But equal opportunity takes from somebody else as well. But they shouldn't have all of that. That's the difference, right? Equal opportunity is important. Being equal isn't, right? We still want a meritocracy. We want things to be good. But we want everybody to have the same shot at it. And to do that, we might have to start over. But nobody wants to just completely start over. Does that make sense? Is that too preachy? This is a very weird ramble on society. Not even very funny at all. Just kind of a point that's being made here. But I don't know. What a weird episode. It's been a weird day. We've waited to, like, whatever. It doesn't matter. Oh yeah, CrowdStrike. Computers didn't work for a while last week. Isn't that insane? They just stopped working and people couldn't fly anywhere. And then my dumbass tried to make jokes about CrowdStrike on Saturday in Appleton, Wisconsin. Maybe it was Friday. It was Friday that I tried to make that in Appleton, Wisconsin, where people don't even know computers exist. I tried to make that joke or make a joke about CrowdStrike. And then we'll leave this note. It's going to carry over to another one. Hey, you, knock it off. Yeah, that was Pete. But, I don't know. We'll roll that note over to... Do you know what? Fuck it. Speaking of cats, we'll round this out on the episode. Cat people need to calm down, okay? I'm a cat person. I understand how fun it is to be a cat person. Cats are fun. Cats are cool. If you don't have cats and you don't like cats, you don't get it, okay? I grew up a dog person my entire life. Had a cat with Boozer, and then it was great. I love cats. Now we have 2 cats. They're fun. People think that they hate you. Maybe you're just bad at having cats. Okay, cats are cool. If a cat doesn't like you, you're probably a bad person, right? Like, if a dog doesn't like you, you're definitely a bad person. If a cat doesn't like you, then, like, you're probably a bad person, or you're too desperate. You, like, want it too much. But, like, cat people, fucking chill, okay? You like cats. You're not special. Like, or you're being weird about it. Like, I saw cat mugs being sold that, like, the person, like, it's having a cat on the edge of, like, a coffee mug, and then, like, leaning on the end of it, like it's shitting into your coffee mug, and then at the bottom of the mug, there's, like, a golden pile of cat shit at the bottom, and it's, like, in the thing, it's like, these sold out, and you go to the website, and they're sold out. Like, who the fuck's buying that? Like, why are you buying a cat shitting in your coffee? That's not cool. That's not fun. That's a cat shit. Like, the worst part about cats is they shit inside if they're indoor cats. Like, it stinks. It smells. Cats smell sometimes. So do like, everything smells. Like, they'd be, like, having fucking... And like, what are we doing? Talking about your cat shit. Like, leave it alone. Like, it'd be like, oh, you're gonna have, like, a cat at the edge spitting a hairball in your fucking shit? Like, why? Why are we doing that? Like, you want... Oh, like, babies have weird poop? If you want a baby, you fucking have a baby. Alright? You weirdo cat person? Like, just fucking chill. Like, cats pooping is not cute. Like, why do we... Like, what? It's not fun. Oh... Love is having cats. No, love is love. All right, I love my cats more than anything. Like, get friends. Like, maybe talk to, like, another human being. But humans are mean, and cats are. If you only get along with cats, that's worse than not having cats like you. That's wild. Like, cats are cool. I love my cats. We hang out with them. I'm too familiar. I'm too lovey with my cats. We talk to them like they're too much like people, like and other than an animal. I'm on, like, the side of cat people most of the time. But just calm the fuck down. Oh, you're gonna wear cat ears in public because you like cats? Like, no. Just, like, fucking, okay, great. I like space. I'm not gonna wear an astronaut fucking outfit everywhere. I can't, like, I like weed. I don't wear weed shit everywhere. I have a couple psychedelic shirts, but I wear them, like, in specific parts. Like, I don't bring up my goddamn cat at all times. Like, yeah, I have a cat. Cool. Let's move on. Like, it's not, again, get a fucking personality. Not just, like, I collect cats. I collect Funko. Like, even the Funko Pop people are, like, better than cat people. Like, they don't do anything, but it's at least something, like, it's something outside of their house that they have to go do. Cat people, like, don't have cats shitting into your mug. You're a fucking cat mom, great. Like, you picked up a cat off the street. They're giving them away for free. All right, it's not a special thing. It's not hard. You can go pick up. Like, you don't pay for cats. They just give them away. They, like, whatever. I don't know. Just, like, don't have cats shitting in your coffee mug. Like, it's the same thing of, like, and coffee people. I love coffee, but coffee's wild. Like, don't talk to me until I had my coffee. How about you don't be a cunt? Like, just, Oh, coffee makes me poop. Like, coffee makes everybody poop. All right, congratulations. Like, that's like your fucking fact of the day. Oh, I like coffee. Like, after I have a coffee and a cigarette in the morning, I mean, like, cool. Congratulations. Did you know that the fucking Earth is round too? Did you know that gravity happens? Did you know that the sun rises and sunsets? Does that make you fucking special too? You fucking weirdo. All right, cool. This is a bitch cast. I'm being real bitchy. Let's do dates and let's get the fuck out of here. Bum 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 bum. That was last night. Tonight doing a apartment show, so you don't need to worry about that. 8-6 Drunken Bean in Chicago. 8:15 another apartment show. 8:19 Zanies in Chicago. Then I'm in St. Paul, Minnesota at the end of August. And then September I'm in Michigan, Chicago, Fort Wayne, Harris, Michigan again. And then October we're in Michigan, and then Comedy Cabin in Janesville. So, I mean, we got some stuff coming up. Always got more room for more. Hitting these mics, doing shows and whatnot. Did Dovetail Brewery last night. That was very fun. Thanks to Jim Barry. It's very funny to meet people who, like, know people that you know. Like, this guy's like, oh, how long have you known Dingle? I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And they're like, we call him Dingleberry because we met. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I get it. I know him as Jim. So, like, don't bring me in on your fucking inside joke. I'm not part of your. I didn't go to college with you. But no, whoisRayRoberts.com. Rate, review, subscribe, all of that good shit. But yeah, follow. And whoever's listening to the old ones, thanks. Like, it helps the numbers. I don't know if somebody's just like letting it run on their computer, but that's great. Thank you for all the listens. Thanks for the tick and you listenership, but appreciate it. Who is Ray Roberts on everything? whoisRayRoberts.com. Have a good rest of your week. Have a beautiful weekend. Goodbye.